Hello guys and welcome back. So today we're going to continue, with building our app. I have some pictures of the app that we're building, and as you can see, this is going to be our landing page. So when you see this, I want you to think in code. So what do we have here? What do we see here in this screen? So first off, we have this header component here, and it kind of like maybe takes 10% of the screen. And then even on the other image, it stays on the top. The header has an icon here, icon, image, or text here. We can do whatever we want. And another icon here with a text written right here. And then, so that's the header. The header is going to be a component that has all of these things in it. And then here we have these four components: burgers, chicken, sandwiches, and hot dogs. But these all look the same. The only difference here is the image and the text, which means that this is also only one component. Just like this is one text component with different text, this is one component that we will make with different images and text. So basically what we need for this screen is just two components, a header, and we can call this promotional food, image, item, whatever. So let's start off with the header. Let's go back to our code. Here we have our launch screen, and we don't really need these texts anymore. We're done with that. We can instantly reload our app, no more text, excellent. So let's continue. The header is going to be a component. So let us navigate to the components folder, right click, new file, and create, let's call it header landing.js. Now very important, .javascript.js, very important. All right, now we have a empty JavaScript file. And I myself don't learn by heart all of these imports. What I like to do is just copy from a empty component and just paste it back here, but make sure, please don't forget to change the name of the class. This class should be called header landing. All right, header landing, and we want it to have its own style component. So instead of launch screen styles, we're going to say header screen styles, and copy this. And now we're going to create a new style component for this one. If we look at our project here, we can see we have a styles folder which is waiting for a new file to appear. Create a new file called header screen styles.js. Also very important. Again, I don't know all this by heart, so I like to copy the style from another component into this and just remove the styles from here. There we go. Fonts and colors we're probably going to use, so I will leave them inside. All right, let's go back to the header. I don't think we're going to be using images, so I'm just going to remove that. All right. So in our header, we won't really need a view. What we can use is called a container. Of course, we need to close it here. And this container doesn't really need a style. But we can just write this component out of nowhere. We need to import it as we import everything. This component is from container from, you guessed it, native base. Now native base is amazing, and you're going to see why in this lecture. All right, so native base also has a header component, which we want the header to be inside of this container. So let's go ahead and add that header here. And inside of the header, what did we say we wanted? So we need three components, let's say. We need this icon here, which is also a button, this text here, and another icon here, which can also act as a button. But let's for now just write texts on all of these, so it's easier for us. Now, the awesome guys at native base made something for a header like this: left body and right. Now we can simply say within the header, we can say left And what do we want to appear left? Let's for now just say a text, say L. All right, that's going to be left. Let's go ahead and now add the body, because whoops, I misspelled that. Body. Let's also add a text here, B. Let's go ahead and add another component, and you guessed it, right. And at right, we are going to add a text. I'm just going to say R, as in right. Now, this should show our header instantly. I mean, it really shouldn't, but because we didn't include it in launch screen. So let's go back to the launch screen and import our header. So import header landing, the name of our component, from. Now, where is this component located? If you look at launch screen, the one we are importing this to, launch screen is in containers, but the header landing component is in components. So we need to actually go back to access this components folder. How do we go back? Well, simply just 2 dots, /, and there we have our components folder. Hit enter, /, and there we see our header landing, and just import it like that. All right, let's add our header landing component that we just made and close it up. You might notice that we are not using this view. It opens and then it has things in it and then it closes. But our header won't have any new components inside itself. It only has components within the actual component of the header landing, not the child of the launch screen. All right, so this is very simple. It should work. So let's go ahead and test that out. If we reload, there we go. There we have our header. We have L as in left, B as in body, and R as in right. Awesome, that was very easy. Now let's make it look as we want to look. So back in header landing. Now any changes we make here will instantly update because header landing is included in the launch screen. Okay, so for the left, we don't want the text, we want an icon. Well, actually a button that has an icon in itself. So let's go ahead and add that button. Of course, that's we need to include the button as well. So let's go ahead and add the button here from native base button. And you remember how all components have the style prop? Well, buttons have another one called onPress, as you could have guessed. And basically onPress, what it does when we press the button, it will call a function. For now, I'm just simply going to call a alert that says left button pressed. In the future, we will open a drawer with this. All right. What do we want to have within the button? Well, maybe an icon. That would be nice. So let's go ahead and type in icon. And you see how React automatically assumes it opens and closes, but for icons, we won't have nothing in it. So we're just going to close it at the end of this. Now, how are we going to, you might remember that we included React Native vector icons when we set up our project. And now we're going to see how that works. I can simply say icon name equals, and the name of the icon I want, for example, iOS menu. I know this icon is for the menu. Now, if I reload the simulator, we're going to have an error here because we didn't include the icon, of course. There we go. Now if we reload, there is our button. However, it's blue because that is the default look of a button. We can see our icon because the button is blue. How do we fix that? Well, we just type in the button transparent. I missed transparent. There we go. Now if we reload the simulator, would you look at that? There is our icon. Now you might be wondering, how do I know the name of this icon? Where did I find it? Well, I found it here. React Native Vector Icons. This is the library of icons that we have imported to our project. We can use all of these icons by simply just typing their name. For example, if I type in iOS menu, you can see that this is that icon that we, well, summoned. And it is in the family Ion icons. And this family is the default family of icons in React Native. Now, what does that mean? What am I talking nonsense? Well, this means that if I take this ant design icon, maybe a step forward, and add it here, it won't appear. Now, why is that? Well, because we need to define the family of icons this icon belongs to. Because in a lot of cases, you will have icons with the same name. For example, here we have menu and menu. These two are called the same. They're different icons and they're from different families. Now, React doesn't know which we are referring to, so we need to specify the family name. So this step forward is from ant design. And it's super easy. Before I specify the name, I can just simply say type, and when I open parentheses, and would you look at that, React recommends us all the families. And if I say ant design, reload our app, there we have the icon, left button pressed. And when we press it, the function of the button plays left button pressed. Awesome. But we don't want the ant design, we want the typical iOS menu. Alright, so that's done for the left button of the header. The body, well, you can write whatever you want. We wrote here barbecue because that's the name of the fast food joint our friend opened. You can type in my foodstagram. Yeah, foodstagram. Cool, foodstagram. I like that. Foodstagram. And then on the right, we're just going to do the same thing as we did for the left. So we want a button. This button, of course, is going to be transparent, and then it's gonna have a onPress method that for now just summons an alert. Tells us alert, right button pressed. Awesome. And now within the button, let's go ahead and actually add a icon. Don't forget to disclose it properly. And name, let's find a good icon to add. Finding icons might be my favorite thing to do. Just enjoying the beautiful work of these amazing people. Well, let's go ahead and say cart. Shopping cart. Yeah, sure, we can add this. Yeah, let's add this shopping cart, this one. So I'll copy the name. Whoops. And don't forget, the type is font awesome 5. So let's copy that as well. Type equals font awesome 5. Save that. Let's go back to our emulator, reload. There we have our icons, left button pressed, right button pressed, and foodstagram. There we go. Our header is almost done. The only thing we left for us is this little guy up here waiting. We didn't pay much attention to him this lecture, but in the next one we're going to fill this up and we're going to style our header to look amazing. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hello and welcome back, everyone. It is an amazing day to continue learning React Native and work on our awesome project. It's going super awesome. I hope you're enjoying the course, and let's get right to it. So in this one, we want to actually design this to look better. All right. And it's always nice and refreshing to work with this design. So let's go ahead and navigate to our header landing. Here we have our header screen styles. And what I usually like to do is define tags for these styles. So let's start with our header style. Styles dot, let's call it header style. Okay. And let's add this style to our style sheet. For now, we will leave them empty for now. We'll just fill them up later. Okay. The button is all right. And now for the icon, we want to create a style. Styles dot icon style. And we're actually going to use the same style for both icons. There's really no need to have two, unless you want them to be different. In that case, you definitely should have two styles for these icons. All right. So the first thing, header. Oh, all right. Also, we need for our text, I'm going to say styles, maybe title, text. Yeah, sure. All right. Let's add the title text. I think these three should be enough for now. All right. So the first thing, header style, the style of our header. Most probably you don't want it to look white like this. So let's go ahead and add a background color to it. Maybe, I don't know, yellow. I think yellow is going to be very bad. Yes, but yellow is very bad. Maybe orange. You should be more specific with these colors and add like a hexadecimal code. Right, orange isn't that bad. All right. I think this is all for the header. Icon style. Now, let's look at our icons. You can see that they're kind of too close to the edges of the screen. And they're also blue. We don't want them to be blue. Let's say color black. And now they're black. But only one of them is, the other isn't. Did I not apply the style to the other icon? Oh, I just wrote icon style. Very sorry about that. Let's fix that. All right, back in the emulator, both of them are black. Now you might be thinking, what kind of wizardry is this? How are we changing colors of icons? If you have a PNG image, you can't just change the color of it. Well, if you have vector icons, you can. You can do a lot of things with them. That is why they are so useful and so awesome. All right, so we have these vector icons. Maybe we want to resize there. Let's center them because they're too close to the edges. Let's go ahead and say align, text align, center. Now you might be thinking, this isn't the text, this is an icon, and you will center them on the header. Well, not really. These vector icons behave like text. If I say font size, maybe 20, it will actually change the size of the icon, which makes them very convenient to work with, as you can see. Now 20 is very little, maybe 50, and then 30. All right, looks much better. Still, it seems like they aren't really aligned properly. Text align center. Align items. Let's try this. Now still not aligned properly. Let's see. Let's try it with a flex. So go to the header and just say flex 1. That is not what we want. Maybe we want that flex on our container. Okay. Just a second. Text align. Never mind that for now. Okay, let's edit this Instagram text. First thing, I would like to increase the size of that text, maybe 30 as well. That's too much. 22. Instagram. Instagram 21. Okay. Let's also make it font family. I think it's font family. Italic. It might be font style actually. font style, yeah. There, it's italic. And then we could add a different font to this. But I'm not going to do that now. We can add a font weight to make it bolder. Okay, Instagram. Maybe it would even be better if the color was white. Yeah, sure. Let's make the icons white as well. Alright. I mean, of course, you can do whatever you like with your app. I'm just playing around. Okay, so now we left button pressed, we have the alert, and we have the right button pressed alert. Alright, awesome. So it seems as though we have finished our header for now, and we can go ahead and work on our next component. So this, where the burgers are. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Let's continue on with our lecture. So last time we made our header, and I guess now it's time to actually create this component here. So you can already tell that we're going to need an image, some text here, and yeah, well, basically that's it. So let's go ahead and actually start doing that. The first thing I would like to do is, well, find an image. Sadly, I won't be able to give you these images because these are official images from my friend's store, but we can find some cool images on pexels.com. Free awesome images. So let's go ahead and type in maybe burger. Alright, here we have some pictures of a burger. Let's just find the one you like. I don't know, maybe this one looks nice. I'm gonna download this one. Thank you, Valeria. Alright, that is downloading. I'm going to navigate to this folder. Just change the name of this picture to burger, so it's easier for us to actually use it in our project. And I'm going to move it to the desktop. For now, we're just going to have one picture, and it's going to be very easy to add more pictures down the line. Now, back in our launch screen. Now that we have our header, it's time to make a new component. So let's go ahead and we can actually close the containers folder and go ahead and go to components. Let us create a new file, and we can name this promotional, just promo food item.js. Very important, don't forget that. Right? And again, it's empty and scary, so I'm just going to copy this component here, and don't forget to delete the header. We're not using a header here. This is a component, not a container. We don't need a header. Change the name of the class to promo food item. Goodbye header. And we're going to create a new style called promo food item styles. So let's copy this name here and go ahead, navigate up to the styles folder, new file, create the style.js. There we go. Again, I'm just going to copy the header styles just for a quicker workflow. Just remove all of this. All right, cool. Now it's time to actually start coding our component. Now, very simple. What do we need here? Well, we're going to have a view which will contain our, sorry, let me just find, okay. So of course we need a view because we want to show something. So we're going to need a view. This is going to be the view, and inside of that view we will have a image and some text. All right, so let's go ahead and do just that. So this is going to be the view. I'm going to change to give it a style here. Let's call it maybe a food card. Well, all right, maybe card. It looks more like a card. Now, within this view, we want to show an image. Well, let's create another view here, which will hold the image, and then On top of the image, we're going to have another view which holds the text. All right, this view will have no style. It will just host the image. Now let's add the image. Again, React assumes we're going to have something within the image, but that's never the case. So let's just close it here. All right. So for the image, what do we want here? Well, first up, remove this import images and import the image from React Native. First, we need to actually import our image to our folder, to our project, I mean. We have a images folder here, and here we can just add our image. Let's go ahead and find our image. Here it is, burger. Whoops. I don't need the preview. Just going to drag it, navigate to our project, and just drag it into the images folder. There we go. Burger.jpg is added. All right. So how do we define a variable here? If you worked with other programming languages, you might be familiar with integers, strings, etc. In React Native, it's simply let. For any type of variable, you just say let and the name of the variable. I'm going to call this food item 1. All right. And how do we link a image to this? Very easy. Simply go ahead and write in require parentheses, open brackets, whoops. And now we define the path to the image. Of course, let's go ahead and go back one folder, navigate to our images folder, all right, / and I believe the file is called burger.jpg, and of course it is, indeed it is. Save that. All right, now we have imported the picture into this variable, and now we can use it to actually show it with this image component. All right, how do we actually do that? Well, as some components have the style prop, buttons have on press, images have source. So source, and the source of this image, for now, we are going to set it to food item 1, to be this image here that we just made. All right, let's close the view, and let's create another view, which will just host the text. And this text, we're just going to say maybe burgers. All right, this should be all for now. So let's just go see how this looks like. It shouldn't look like much because we didn't specify these styles, but let's just import this here in our launch screen for the sake of better testing. So import promo food item from / components promo food item. All right, how are we going to display this item? The same way we did with the header landing. Just call it promo food item and close the component. There we go. Now we should have this promo food item below our header, and I think it won't look like anything. You can see the image is huge image. We don't want that. Now we need to play around with the style to make this look as we want. Now, the main view of this component, if we look at, if we look at this picture, obviously this takes perhaps maybe half the screen of the user's height of his phone. So what I'm going to do is we need to somehow determine mathematically what his height is, and then just calculate the height of this component so the image doesn't take up the whole screen. So let's go ahead and actually, what's it called, food card, and start writing some style for this. Food card. All right, we have a prop for height, and here we can specify the height to be maybe 200 pixels, and let's just see how that will look like. Now we can see things have changed. Now the image is down here. Obviously we are on a good track. Now what we can do is, from React Native, we can actually import dimensions. Now this is a cool library which will allow us to, well, basically define, let's say, we want the height, so let height, we create a variable called height. You can call this in caps if it's easier for you to not get confused with this height. I just got used to writing it all in lowercase. All right, so we want in the height variable to put the height of the user's screen. So how do we do that with the dimensions library we just included? Let's go ahead and write in dimensions dot get, and we are getting the window of the user, and we are actually getting its height. All right, let me just make this prettier. Okay, so now here, instead of height being 200 pixels, I can say height divided by 2. And now on all screens, the height of this food cart is going to be height divided by 2. Now let's see how that looks like. All right, you can see it's taking up half of the screen. We're making progress, but the image is just too big. We need some kind of method to resize this. Thankfully, the image component in React Native has this prop built into it. So we can just say resize mode, resize mode, here it is. Open these curly brackets, and we can say contain. And this should contain the image within the view. And it didn't. Perhaps because we need also to create a style for this image. Call it styles. Promo image. All right. Now what I want to do with the style of this image is I want its height to be 100% of the view it is in. Okay, so not 100% of the screen, it's 100% of the view it is in, and the view it is in has a height of height divided by 2. All right. Let's check something else out. Go to the food cart and add align items to the center. Let's see how that will behave. Still our image is huge, but we're going to solve that in a minute. All right. Let us see if another resize mode can be applied here. So contain, I think I actually wrote it wrong. Let's see. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. Sorry about that. So now you can see the image is contained within this view. Very sorry about that. Okay, but still we have some issues. It's not instantly below the header. It's kind of like half a height below the header, and then the image is shown, which is really interesting. Let's try and figure out why that is. And what I usually like to do is I would add a background color to this view. Let's say blue, and see where this black background is applied. And you can see, so everything is all right. So something is wrong here. What exactly it is, we're going to see in the next lecture. I hope you can figure it out. If not, we are going to solve this in the next lecture. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you then. Hello guys, and welcome back. If you remember from last time, we have this issue that our image is showing, well, below. We have a white space here that the image is showing under. So something here is pushing the image downwards. Now what is it? Now if you have experimented with background colors and such, you will realize that the issue isn't really with this component here. This one works perfectly. However, we need to look at the other components and see what might be causing this issue. So let's take a look into the header landing component. If we look, remember we have a container which actually contains our header, and this might actually be causing these issues. So let's go ahead and add a style here quicker, because we just want to test it. That background color, maybe black. So now if we reload, we will see that it is in fact the container. The container for some reason decided to take up half the screen, and that is why our image was pushed downwards. All right, so now we need to tell the container to give it its own space, which will allow us, well, the image to be properly displayed. So let's create a style for this container as well. Styles dot header container. Navigate into the styles folder and add this style. All right. So what we want to do here is, of course, this container we need to change its height. That's pretty obvious. So what I'm going to say is height, and let's make it 10% of its current header, of the current view it's in. All right. The background is still black for some reason. This didn't reload properly. Okay. Header container. Header container. Okay, it should be working. Let's see. For some reason, it is not. Yes, another thing. We need to change the flex of this container. So let's set this flex to be 0. And now the items are going to start ordering themselves from above, as you can see. But now we have this slight issue that the image is kind of above the container. But don't worry, we can easily change this by simply adding this property called z index, which is basically, you can imagine this as a three-dimensional axis, and the higher the number, the higher this is rendered on in the app. So if we give this an index of 5, it's going to be the first, always on top of everything. There we go, you can see it is on top of this image. All right, well, now we have our image here displaying properly, but the text is below. We actually want the text to be in the center of the image. So let's go ahead, now that we've solved this issue, we can close our header and the header style. Make sure that you always hit Command S to save your file whenever you make changes. That way when you rerun your app, you're always up to date. Sometimes you might not see the change that you did make. Okay, so we want the text to be centered and written here. All right, so let's go back to this promo food item component and look at the text. So we wrote the text within a view. Okay, so then we need to style the view, and then of course style the text. So styles dot text view, and I'm going to create a style for this text. Style styles, maybe food title, sure. Okay, let's add these two text to the style sheet. So text view, and I believe it was food title. I'm used to copying this so I don't get any typos. Okay, so what do we want for the text view? If we look at our let me find it. If you look at our images, we would want the text to be centered and have this border around it, be big. That's going to be, well, very fun to do now. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Okay, first we are doing the text view. The first thing we want to do is I want to justify content to be centered. I want the text to be centered. I believe it is centered anyway, but just for security purposes, I'm going to write it anyway. Okay. The width and height of this view, I want to be 100% of the view it is in. So 100% of the view here. And now you can see how the text has changed because this view just got much bigger. Let me show you what this view now looks like. Background color green. All right, this view just got really big and is below our image, but we don't want that. We actually want this to be on top of our image. For that, we can use a property called position absolute. And this will make sure that this text has an absolute position on this component. And there you have it. Now it is on the component. However, the text isn't aligned in the center, even though I said justify content in the center, but I guess we'll just have to use the, yes. This is aligning it in the center of the view. Later, when we style the text, we are going to give the text a property to align it in respect to the view. Okay. Now that's done, we can move ahead to the food title style. All right, first thing, let's increase the font. Font size, maybe 36. It's a nice number, 3 and 6. Okay, sure. We need the color to change. I'm guessing a nice white color should be good. So white. All right, progressing. Another thing we can use is font weight. So let's say font weight. And these are our properties. Let's go with bold, see how that looks like. Sure, looks nice. Burgers. Let's align this text. What is this? Text align center. Okay. Boom, there we go. The text is now centered. Okay, now we want some borders. As you've guessed, it's going to be, again, very simple. So first, border width. If we want to have a border, well, we need to define a width of this border. By default, everything has a border of width 0, but now we are going to set it to 1. And this should create some kind of border around our text. And here it is. Okay, let me immediately change the color of this border. So border color, white. Okay, now that this might look aesthetically pleasing to you. Maybe it does, I don't know. I'm not as much a designer as I'm a programmer. But if you don't have a design, you can feel free to play around with these things and just experience and learn what you can do, see what you can do, come up with some fun things. But for now, I'm just going to try and recreate this, this border we had here. Okay, so we have the border color. Let's now give this border, let's give this some kind of margin. So margin left. And what this is going to do is basically like push it from the left by, let's say, by 20%. Let's see how that looks like. All right, you can see we pushed it from the left, and well, you guessed it, we should do the same for the right. Let's go ahead and do just that. Margin right, 20%. Oops, 20%. See what that looks like. Okay, we have this border, but we want the edges to be nice and curved. How we do that is with border radius. Let's say a value of 10 for now. Okay, looks very nice. And you can see the only thing we're missing is to push this component from the text upward and downward, and that is done with padding. So if you put padding on a component, you're pushing other components from it. So let's demonstrate that. Padding top, maybe 5%. Okay, and you will now see this will be pushed upwards. There we go. And let's add a padding bottom, 5% as well. Okay, there we go, burgers. Nice, looks very good. Okay, now we are done with the style. I just want to maybe change one more thing. In the image, I'm going to say blur radius equal to 5. Just blur the image a little bit, because maybe it's a bit better. I don't know. I just want to show you guys all of these cool things, and you can decide for yourself. Okay, now that we've done this component, we're going to show you how to implement this elegantly, like here, in the next lecture, and it's going to be super simple and super awesome. Thank you guys for watching so much. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hello guys, and welcome back. I ran the Android emulator, and I noticed a few things were quite different. First off, the image is too moved away from the header, and the food isn't centered here. So this quick lecture is just going to address those things. We will fix them quickly and move onwards. Alright, so how are we going to solve? Let's first solve the header. We know what this is, and those of you who were using this on an Android emulator all along, you probably fixed it already. For those of us who didn't, let's go ahead and open up our header component, and in the body tag you can see that we forgot to center these things. So let's just open this style again, and let's create a style for the body. Style, styles, oops, whoa, styles, body style. Okay, and I'm going to text align center. Whoops. It's not text align. Actually, I think we just need to pass this to the text style. So where is it? Title text. Okay, title text. Font align center. I think that's it actually. Font align center. Oh, what's wrong? Font align is not valid style property. Title text. Font align. Oh, wow. It's text align. Wow. I'm very sorry about that. And it's still not aligned properly. Let's see why that could be. Align content center. Still not aligned properly. Let's think about this. Why is it not changing? Let's go back to our header here. So this is within the body tags. The text Foodstagram needs to be centered. So let's actually look at this and try to figure out what could be the issue here. Maybe it's not aligned. Maybe it's justify content center. That's not it either. Interesting. Are we getting any changes on the iPhone version? No changes. Is this body style applied? Yes, it is. Title text has text align. Justify content, maybe. I don't think that's the solution. Nah, this will do nothing. Interesting. I mean, it should be in the middle in and of itself. I don't see why it isn't. That's very interesting, actually. Interesting. Let's look at our container again. Maybe it has something to do with this. Container looks 0. Justify content center. It's in the center of the container. That's not what we want. Let's look at the view again. Maybe the header here. Could be justify content center. Yeah, actually could be. And it's not. Interesting. Let's try something here in the body style. So flex direction. Whoops. Flex direction row. Whoa. Flex 1. Justify content center. Let's try this. So it doesn't work. I think I know why this doesn't work. I might have to restart my development server. Maybe running 2 emulators kind of complicates things. Not sure, but let's just continue for now. Let's fix this. This white space here. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the promo food. Actually, it's the header, where we defined the height of the header container. Now we set 10%, and obviously for Android phones that's not going to work. We need a different value. Now what we can do here is we can include from React Native this library called platform, and this is going to be very simple. So the height is going to be determined by the platform. So we type height is going to be platform.operating system. Now if this is equal to iOS, we want to say that we want 10%, else we want to have 8%. I think I just messed up these two. There we go. There we go. Oops, this is going to be 8%. Okay, so what this means basically, if the operating system this is running on is a iPhone, the height is going to be 10%. If it isn't an iPhone, it's going to be 8%. Very simple, one line of code. Let's go ahead and look at this in the emulator. And there we go. It looks as it should. Reload on iPhone and it looks the same. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll figure out what's wrong with this body text here. But it's for now not too big of an issue. We're going to focus on more important things. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Goodbye. Hello guys and welcome back. So I closed the other emulator because my computer doesn't like me running 2 emulators and recording at the same time. So well, we're just going to work with the iOS one. Alright, so let's go ahead and find some more food images. Well, you can find any image you like. I'm just gonna look for maybe, I don't know, chicken. Yes, this is a cute chicken. Wow, these are some amazing photos. Okay, yeah, sure, let's take this one. Thank you very much, public domain pictures. Let's go ahead and maybe find pizza. Yeah, sure, pizza. Nice. You know, a big problem when making an app for a food service is you get really hungry. Like, this is some very good looking food. I mean, thank you, Pixabay. And one more. Well, actually, I'm not going to download anymore. You guys can if you want. Let's call this pizza PNG. And this one is already chicken, JPEG. Keep in mind, these images are pretty high res. Like this one is 2000 pixels by, well, almost 3000 by 2000. So if you're going to be deploying them in your app, make sure to resize them beforehand. Because if you look at what we're displaying here, this isn't nearly 2000 by 100. You can crop this image and just place it here. But for now, for this purpose, it's more than good. But if you're going to plan to publish it to the App Store, you should cut these images. All right, so we have pizza and chicken. We want to add these two to our project. So let's go ahead and do just that. Find it here. Slowly but surely. Here we go, images. It added them. Okay, it added them. All right. Great. I'm going to close this header. Yes. All right. So now that we have in our launch screen we have this promo food item, we can just make more of them. Just add 3 of these guys and see what happens. And well, we have 3 of these components, but we can scroll and we want to be able to scroll. So let's add the ability to scroll. That's going to be below the header, because you don't want to scroll the header, of course. So let's go ahead and include a scroll view, but of course we need to include it. And this guy added it from the React Native gesture handler. That is not from where we want to import this. In fact, we want to import it from React Native. Scroll view, there we go. And add these guys up here, these 3 guys, okay? And now let's see how our app behaves. And would you look at that, we can already scroll. Now that was very, very easy to set up. All right. Now we could add some styles to this scroll view, but I don't see the need. If you want, you can, of course. Another thing to note, if you're using Facebook Messenger, whoops, those apps, they were built with React Native, and if you have an iPhone device, you might have noticed that you can always drag content up. Now this isn't the case on Android. However, when we drag this up, it kind of looks, I mean, the white background, it just doesn't feel good. So we could add a background color to this scroll view, and in fact I am going to add a background color to the scroll view. So styles.scroll, just call it scroll. Yeah, very creative, thank you. So copy this, go to the styles, add this guy to his friends. Oops, scroll like that. What is happening to me? I cannot type. Okay, background color, was it yellow? Did we say yellow? You guys should use more precise colors, like find hexadecimal codes and import them to your app. Nothing happened, perhaps because I miswrote it, I guess. Well, it definitely isn't a yellow color, that's for sure. It's more like orange. And you can see the orange is scorching us because the images aren't loading quick enough. But when they are loaded, and if you scroll up, it feels a bit better. You can choose some better colors for this. Alright, now we have these 3 burgers, but they're all the same, and we don't want them to be the same. It's boring when they're the same. So I'm going to delete 2 of these guys. Sorry, we'll see you later. And open up the promo food item. So you can see we have hard-coded here burgers, and we have hard-coded the image here. Now, there's a much better way to do this, and we will be able to reuse this component as many times as we want with different properties, or props for short. All right, I'm going to delete this food item 1 requirement here. Okay, and I'm going to delete this text here, and I'm going to delete this source of the image. So now we somehow want to be able to, from our launch screen, when we create this promo food item, we want to tell them what image we want there and what text we want there. All right, seems very easy to do. Now, how I want you to think about this is this launch screen is a parent, and all of these components here are its children, its lovely children, and a parent, a child can inherit from his parent. So here we can, in promo food item, we can give it some properties, some props. So let's go ahead and give it an image. I'm gonna say, simply say image equals, and then here we need to specify the image. And I'm just going to create a variable here. Let's say burger image. It's going to require components. Whoa, sorry. Burger.jpg, and I'm going to copy this and import the chicken image. That's going to be chicken.jpg, and finally pizza image, pizza.jpg. All right, now we have these 3 images, and we want to use them in our component that we build. Here for the image, I can simply say burger image. Okay, now it is being used, and now we're also missing a text. So let's go ahead and say text. You can call this whatever you like. I'm just calling it what makes the most sense to me. And here we can say burgers. Since it is the burger image, the text should also be burgers. Okay, now let's actually open up this child here. I'm just going to close the launch screen styles. Let's open up the promo food item child. Now, here we are in the component. There's no hard-coded text or images. It is a simple 20-line code component, actually even less. Now, how can we actually access these properties that the parent has given to this child? Well, simply by saying this dot props as in properties. And what are we getting? What prop are we getting? Well, the prop for image is going to be called image because we called it image here. So basically, when this component is created, it will take the burger image and put it here in the image component, and it will display the burger image. Pretty cool, huh? Now we're going to do the same for the text, but we can't just say this props text because this will be written there. As you can see, it is a plain white text. We need to do it in curly brackets, like here you see. Now this indicates that it is React Native code. This props text. All right, let's check out that this is called text. All right. Now if we reload our app, we should see only one of these components, and we get a giant error. Let's see what's wrong. The components burger JPG could not be found. Okay, so we can't find the burger image. Maybe I miswrote it. Wow, I am very sorry, guys, that you had to witness this. It's very late, so I'm kind of my brain isn't working as it should be. It's not in components. Wow. No words really. Require. Images are in the images folder. Yes, exactly. Burger.jpg. Not in the components folder. So just copy this and change it to images. Alright. Now we should see one burger. There we have it, one burger. But he is very lonely and we need to add some friends to him. Everybody needs friends, and we're just going to copy this promo food item component and just write it 2 times. Well, you can add it 100 times if you like. I'm just giving it this example. And now, since this component was written as a proper component which takes the props that we pass in the parent, we simply say here in the second one, chicken image. You can write here chicken. The third one is going to be pizza image, right here, pizza. And now if we reload, we will have 3 components with different images and different text. There you go. Very awesome. Very cool. You can of course add as many of these as you like. Now we're going to have a bunch of pizza components. There we go. Now I hope you get the idea of how important it is to use components and to write them properly. And we're going to talk more about these properties in upcoming lectures. But this is basically all there is to them. Just you need to have a clear image in your head what you want to build. Alright, I deleted those. Let me reload. Here we go. So what's left here is to make this clickable. Well, let's just do this instantly. So open up our promo food item. And how do we could make it a button, but what I also like to use is called a touchable opacity. It's from React Native, and we can just wrap all of the entire component in a touchable opacity. Just close it here. Okay. On press. Alert. And now, the thing I want to alert, in the future we will navigate to a different screen which will have more items for our customers, but for now I'm just going to alert, and the alert will simply say will just tell us what we're pressing. Okay, so if we reload, if I click on burgers, we should get a burgers alert. Burgers, chicken, and pizza. There we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're learning and having fun learning. We will continue in the next one. Goodbye.